I want to tell you a fable, and I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I do remember the fable and the gist of it, and it applies to what I want to tell you today. It's about this farmer who had some golden apples, and he wanted to send some to the king. So he sent his first son with the apples and said, go give them to the king. The son came along, and he met this little old lady, and she says, what do you got there, sonny? And he says, oh, just some pig slop. She says, so shall it be. And as you remember, he went on to see the king, and he showed the king the golden apples, which was pig slop. The second son took some apples and went along the same journey and saw this little old lady. What do you have there, sonny? Oh, got some snakes and lizards. So shall it be. So he went on his way, and of course, when the king looked at the golden apples, it was snakes and lizards. So the farmer had the third son, and he says, now I want you to take these golden apples to the king. So the son went along with the apples, and he met this little old lady. What do you have there, sonny? Some golden apples that they're choice, and they will make the king happy. So shall it be. And of course, he went up and showed the king, and the king was very happy and honored the son and honored the farmer. Now, it's a lot like this in art. When you're going to paint a painting, if you say, oh, it's not going to be any good, or if you say, it's going to be a great painting, can't you hear it said, so shall it be. And that's what's going to happen. This is going to be a great painting. Let's go ahead and do it. And with those words of so shall it be, I want to show you the palette. The palette we have, boy, it's a full one today. We have a base color. Where do we have a base color? No, let's start over here. We have phthalo blue plus black, equal parts. This is into white, and then you add some yellow. So it comes out sort of a greenish look. That's going to be the sky. We'll thin it out very lightly in the sky because the sky already has a kind of a green cast, which I'll show you in a minute. This is alizarin crimson added into some of that sky color, and that'll be for the lower cloud right below the sun. And then on the edge of the cloud, as we go to the right and left, we're going to have some phthalo blue added into it. So that gives just a second color into the clouds. The home of the sun is yellow and 1/2 orange, and you put that into white. Isn't that pretty? And then yellow and white, which will be for the sun itself, and that'll be some of the highlights on the foam. Here we have black and blue. I guess that's what my base color is. Yeah, phthalo blue and ivory black. But here I've added about 1/6 part cadmium yellow light, and we'll be pushing that in for some of the. Where am I going to push that in? Oh, that's going to be in around on the water. Rocks, black and umber, equal parts. We come down over here, we have a gray which is made from black and white, and add a little red light into it. That'll be for the back of the boat and the side of the boat. You know, somebody would actually say the bow, the stern, the port side, and the aft, and all that, but we're going to say the side of the boat and the back of the boat, okay? Okay, we have some color of black and phthalo green with yellow, sort of intermixed. First the black and green are equal, and then we add some yellow. This will be around for the reeds. This is black and blue, equal parts, phthalo blue, and some white for the water that's in the tide pool. I've used burnt umber and white with just a little yellow ochre in it, and then a touch of this, a touch of the tide pool too. That gives me the color that I want around on the sand. We'll take a quick look at the brushes, and this time, you know, we start with the baby first. This is the baby brush, the twiggy brush, foam patterns. And oh, today they're important. Yes, that's why you're over here. Some of these will be done for the reeds. We have a sable brush. We have a badger blender, which is very nice. We have a well-used Bugs Bunny brush. It's ready to be retired. And then a little longer-haired one that's nice blending. We have a bristle fan brush, sable brush, just for filling in some of the ocean, and the Bucks mop brush. That's a nice soft patter. And the knife, and you'll get some use too. Okay, let's come up to the canvas. The canvas is pre-primed with a greenish tone. That is really nice because it's all dry, and the colors that go on top of that, it lets some of the green show through. I think I've already put a bird in the sky. I sure have. That's okay. You go away and let the other one be there. Okay, down below, we put the sand on early just to save some time. And you can see how it's been thinned out with paper towel. And I've also felt that it'd be best if I wipe a little bit more where I'm going to put the reeds in, so they'll go in a little more purely and will be a little darker. This painting today will have a middle stage. So I'll work to a certain point and then bring up a painting that's already dry at that stage. And some of the reeds we put in will be a lot stronger by having various degrees of dryness and wetness. Okay, let's see. I think I'll go ahead. Why don't we start somewhere else today instead of in the sky? Let's come down to the tide pool. This is the black and blue, phthalo blue and ivory black and white. And as you mix this, equal parts of the black and blue into white, and then put it into white. As you do this with equal parts, if you think that it's just a little too black, add a little extra blue. Mine happens to be just right, but I'm giving you a formula that works for me. You may have to adjust it depending on what paint you're using. Okay, I'm pushing this in to the tide pool area, and as I meet the sand, I push just a little bit very horizontally into the sand so it softens slightly. I guess I better use the finger just a little bit too. Okay, that'll work. Come down into this area, push this around. This was done dry brush. You'll find that a dry brush will wear your brushes out a little bit more, but it sure works well. Okay, the blender, push it back and forth, also soften into the sand. And you can go a little bit each way just to make it very smooth, because we're talking about wet water. What other kind of water is there? As we go back, why don't we go ahead and put some more water in. This is the same brush. I will now use a little medium, and I'll put this on over as the water and save the spot for the eye. I'm not going to come down any lower because we'll use some foam color to show a lightened water there. You're pushing across. This is just filling in time. Push across like that. You want to be a little careful as you come to the sand. I don't want that to be blended. That's sharp. It's standing away from the water. However, we will have grass, and that'll grow in front of it too. Okay, I think that will take care of our water needs. Let's go ahead with some of our foam color. And that happens to be not mixed. Well, we'll mix right on canvas, right on camera. Where to go? Here's white. And I'm using some of the watercolor that we just put on and add it into white. See, Bucky knows how to mix. He mixed these himself. These aren't pre-tube mixes. Okay, there's our color. I do like to have formulas, though, as I have given you, because each time that you want to paint a painting and match those colors, you have a recipe. Okay, here's the fan brush, and I'm going to put this on as my big splash up foam. I am staying away from going as high as I want to splash up until I put the sky in. Once the sky's in, then I'll go up into that area, but let's just kind of hold back from it at this point. Okay, we'll put it a little bit over in here, and then this is the color that I want to mix in at the lower part of the wave. Lower part of the wave, right under the wave. Notice that I'm picking up a little bit of the dark color as I do it and bringing it down with me. Now when you get to the dark water of the tide pool, I have very little paint on the brush, but it's still some of the grayish tone. Kind of thin it out towards its neighbor. Hello there. I want to use the pencil lines, but I don't want to retain them, so you kind of touch a little extra to make sure the pencil lines are gone. Let's just hit this a little bit again. And when you have water running, it helps if you put just a little dark in there. So what I'm going to do is take some of the same dark. I'll just dash down, pick it up, come right back, and put my bended stroke, my bent stroke. That's my running water. You know, on the farm when I was there, we didn't have running water. That was in the olden days. My daughter asks me sometimes, she says, "Daddy, what do you use for plates in the olden days?" And I said, we just find a nice flat rock. Okay, let's put in some of the reeds, and this is our black and green, and I'll start with just that first. That's a little bit of medium and the fan brush. Come down in the corner and just whoosh around. If that looks a little too green, you could go ahead and take some of the umber I have, for my rocks, I have black and raw umber, so I'm going to take some of that. Not much. I'll kind of push it around so I use very little. And put this down. See how that's just a little more brown looking? I like that just a little bit better. No, not better. In addition to what's there. We start putting in a mass of just paint where we're going to eventually draw character into the mass. Let's come over here just a little bit. We don't go much more than just mushy in the position of the green. Now you can see when we get, eventually when we get to the next stage, that I've added just a little bit more. I haven't taken a lot of time to develop these. I want you to see, for instance, this one, and which would be done all the way across, but I won't take time to work them up in any great detail until we get to stage 2. Boy, I'm almost embarrassed to look at that, but let's blend it. That's a little better. A little bit down there. You sort of watch the colors mix in slightly with the sand, which is a help, because then your sand feels like it's being shaded slightly by the foliage that's next to it. Okay, let's go past the foliage. We'll come to the boat itself. Now the boat, if we take, let's take the soft sable brush, and here's the color. This is black and white with a little red in it. So it makes it kind of a warm gray. We'll put this on the back of the boat. I think I remember one term. You know what this little bend is called there, where you put in an outboard motor? It's called a transom. I say that with authority, and you know, if I'm wrong, you just write the station and tell them that it was wrong. And they can write to me and tell me, and then I'll write back and apologize to you. All these things will take a little time, of course. Okay, when we come down to this side of the boat, we'll take the same color, but we'll lighten it. I'm going to lighten it just a little bit with my foam color. So it still keeps it kind of in a grayish mode. Ooh, there you go. It's funny how colors look so different against other colors. Now this color looks just a little pinkish against the green that it's on top of. Okay, now the inside of the boat is going to be just our black and burn umber. Fill that in sort of solid-like. You of course, when you do this at home, be sure that you go very carefully and do, which means do a good job. I would even suggest, for instance, this line. Rather than do it that way, turn it upside down if you're right-handed. So you're always working against the line. See, this line I can see out there. I can do that quite well. But it's a little harder to do this one unless you turn it upside down. That's if you're right-handed. Okay, the same color, which we just put inside the boat, will go down for the rocks, the lower rocks. And while I have just a little bit of paint on it, I'll push some of these around. They're faint underneath the surface rocks. You'll see these developed a little bit more as we go to the next stage too, but that's the way you do it. You have them so they're not quite as dark as this one. I think you can see that. Okay, I'll take the same color, which is a rock color, come up to the rocks that are near the big wave. Notice how the composition, the old boat sitting there kind of points up towards the interest of the water against the rocks, and it further points up towards the sky, and then you have your tide pool bringing you back in. So it's a very restful composition. That's almost what you'd call a raphael shape, where you have a shape in like this and around like that. Well, you take my word for it. That's raphael. Okay, let's go on with the sky. And when we come to the sky, we're going to take, as we said, a color that is very close to the color that's already on the canvas. And that's this one, phthalo blue and black, which has been put into white, and then a little bit of yellow light, just yellow. Look at how close that is. Then you say, well, why have the green there at all? Well, when I'm putting this on now, I don't have to completely cover it. But the other aspect, I do want to have a little wet into wet here. So putting the green back on gives me that avenue. But I have done it, as I said, kind of flitting type. There's still openings around there. Okay, let's come down for the clouds. And the clouds, the same green color I just used, but we have some alizarin crimson that's been added into it. And this is going to be with the same brush, same bunny brush. Come up to the horizon. I'm pushing this on, and this is just going right on top at the moment, dry canvas. Watch what happens when we go up into the sky further. Ooh, don't watch yet. Well, it's too much paint, but I'll spread it around and it won't be too much. That's not too much. Smooth across so you touch the water and it softens the water in the horizon. Push around over here. Come up a little bit stronger on the left side. Stronger in this case means larger rather than darker. And I have just a small little color here on the end of the cloud, which has a touch of phthalo blue into that reddish cloud color. And this is just sort of to give a feeling like there's a little bit of an ending place on the cloud. It's further away from the light it is, it's a little darker. Boy, that's a pretty color. Let's put some up in there. And to soften, sometimes it means removal. I'll just wipe a little bit, and that's such a great advantage of a prime canvas and being dry. As you thin it out, you get practically a color of another hue. What does hue mean? I don't know. Hue and chroma and value, lights and darks. There's many different terms, right? Okay, I'm going to take, let's yellow and 1/2 orange into white. Bunny brush. Boom. Isn't that pretty? Bang. Boom. Push that around. That's the home of the sun. Oh, that's beautiful. We'll take a little bit of knife work using the same color. And this goes at the horizon. We haven't put the sun in yet, but I know where it's going to go. It's going to go right there because you want to be sure it butts in against this rock. I used to feel that when you painted a scene that, say that you had a person standing on the beach, that you'd have the light come right down to the person at the beach. Maybe I better go to the canvas and you can watch this. If I had a person standing over here, I'd draw the light down over to that person. But that's not the way it goes. Light travels straight down to the viewer. But as I would be going along, I would jog on the beach, and the sun was always with me. I think, gee, that's great. The sun's right with me. I stand up and look down and watch somebody jogging along, and the sun was down here, and they'd be over there, and I think, they're not in the sun. Now they're in the sun, now they're gone. But that's strange. The sun comes directly to me, the viewer, whereas the person there, it was right to him. So when you paint, always have the sun come in a straight line to the viewer. Okay, let's see what we have. Do we have, we've pretty much accomplished what we need to at this stage. Okay, I'm going to take this down and put the other canvas up. Magic! Magic before your eyes. Oh, that was fast. Did you even see that happen? I have to do that so you know that it's not the same one. Okay, so we have the canvas covered. We have a little stronger opportunity now for the reeds because this is all dry. Okay, let's go up to the sun first, and we'll start with a knife. This is going to be with our yellow and white, which we haven't used yet, with a knife, and I'm going to put this on right where the sun goes. Let's see, I was going to make a point. What I was going to say is this. When you make the yellow and white, it's a good idea to hold it up to where you're going to put it. Because it's sometimes, if you get too much yellow, it doesn't look good. If you don't have enough, it looks icy. So you want to have it just right, which this is. Oh, I noticed on this painting, see, I've splashed up into the sky a little bit now. And of course, it would be much easier to splash up with this when the sky is dry. So you're not mixing those two together. Okay, we don't have a lot of room between the horizon and this wave, but I'm putting just a little sparkle light on top of this wave. And then a little second one that's right below what you call the spill or the dump. A little bit over in there. And on this side. Before I blend that, I'll continue with the knife and the paint that I want. This is going to be, well, let's do the way I would suggest you do it. I'd say, okay, there's your sun. Here's the straight line. So each of these items that you're going to put in will be straight along that path. Okay, here's the light right in front of the big wave, down a little further, and a little light on the shore edge because you have some moving water coming up there, further down in the tide pool. Ran out of paint, here we back. And then where we want that light to be strong, now we put quantity in. Spread it around with the pinky. Okay, I suppose we could put just a little bit light. I'll borrow some that's up here. Borrow some of this and put just a little bit of sparkle there and a little bit on this side. Okay, we'll go ahead and blend that, and I'll use, what brush am I using? I'm using a fan brush, and I'm going to use a fan brush that is clean, you might have heard. Okay, roll this around a little bit. This is dry brush without extra paint on. I'm sort of removing a little bit and thinning it out. I might take just a speck of that, just put a little bit up there, just a little bit up high. Same thing at the horizon, spread it out. On the foam itself, push it up like that, push it up like that. Do-do-do-do. It's coming. Okay, that's a nice blend. We'll put a little bit down here. And if you feel like there's a little too much after you do that, then just wipe a little bit. We want to sort of keep it a little more character than be too much mush. Okay. We'll put some of the same highlight on the side of the boat. The side of the boat is going to be a little of the yellow and white, which we just used. I'm going to do one little variation, and that's to take a little more white in this yellow and white. Okay, here we come. Start at the front of the boat and sort of pull it back. Ooh, there you go. And there, and there. Take that, take that. Okay, that boat's been sitting there quite a while. How do you know it's been sitting there quite a while? Take a look on the inside. The inside. There's a few reeds in there, and they don't just grow overnight. But let's come back with the reeds. We'll put just a few in here. Oh, I think I went a little fast on you. That was a twiggy brush, and we picked up some of the medium, and this is black and green with a little yellow. Okay. Oh, I'm probably running too fast, but we got to get this in there. Okay, here we come. Twiggy brush. Ooh, see how nice that is? It stands out now because you have a very, very dry canvas. I'll just jump back and forth and put these on. You're going to find that as you do this, that you're going to have a lot of the same color to start with, and then you come and you're going to put some of the other little variations in. The other variations, in this case, if I'll just show you down at the palette, this is with some yellow and some white in it, so it has kind of a greenish feeling. Push those around. You can see them a little more in front. You can see that, can't you? Okay, I need to kind of rush a little fast on this, which I will grab the fan brush, and let's put some of these on. Fan brush tool. You can put some of these on with a fan brush, and then if you want to add some extra little twiggy ones, you can do that. Oh, this is a fun time. I'm wanting you, when you do it, take just a little bit more time because you want to do these each very well. Okay, on the grass on the right and left, I'm going to put a little bit of this cloud color. Cloud? Yes, that's the alizarin with that green color. Let's put a little bit of this on. Just a touch, 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 like that. We'll put some down near the boat, too, at the bottom of the boat, just a little bit like that. I better kind of blend this slightly around before we leave it. And I have a little orange in the brush. I sort of like that idea, because look what you can get. Look at those accidental effects. Oh, it's gorgeous because it gives the feeling like the light's coming down as you do it. Now I need to get one other thing done on the boat. If you watch, let's use a twiggy brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of the black and umber. And you're coming up, and we'll just put a couple little cracks. I better touch those so they're not too sharp. A couple little cracks along there. A crack in here. And what will also help it look like your old boat is if we take a little bit of, let's see, what this is the sand color, and put just across there. See, you're seeing through. Isn't that great? You're seeing through. I need to do a couple little gray foam patterns. This is with a twiggy brush. Just a couple little ones. Okay, now we'll see you next time. Glad you were able to watch.